Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dental Marketing Mix, the podcast where we help dental practice owners cut through the noise and figure out what's actually working in online marketing. I'm Dan Bryan, I'm the co-founder of DentalScapes, and I am really glad you're here today. Let me start with a question that might just sting a little. When a DSO-backed practice opens up 2 miles from your office with a bigger budget, a full-time marketing team, and a call center that answers every phone call on the first ring, do you actually know how you're going to compete? Because here's the reality. That is not a hypothetical anymore. For a lot of you listening, it's already happened. Maybe it's happened twice. Dental support organizations have been expanding at a pace that is genuinely reshaping the industry. And if you own an independent practice, whether you're a GP, a pediatric practice, an ortho office, you felt it, I guarantee it. You've seen the billboards, you've seen the Google ads sitting above your listing online. Maybe you've even lost a hygienist or an associate to one of their offices. So today we're talking about competing with the DSO down the street. And I want to do it honestly. There's no fear-mongering here, no pretending the ground hasn't shifted, but there's also no doom and gloom. Because here's the punchline up front. Independent practices can absolutely still win. Not by outspending the big guys, you won't, I assure you, but by getting scrappy, playing to your natural advantages, and executing the marketing fundamentals with more discipline than the corporate office ever will. So let's get into it. First, let's just name the sea change because I think it deserves to be acknowledged rather than waved away. 10 or 15 years ago, dentistry was overwhelmingly a cottage industry, so to speak. Solo docs, small partnerships, handoff to an associate at retirement. That model is being disrupted in real time. DSO affiliation has grown year over year. Private equity has poured money into consolidation. And in a lot of markets, a meaningful share of the practices you're competing against aren't owned by a dentist at all who lives in town. They're owned by an organization with dozens or even hundreds of locations, centralized marketing, centralized purchasing, and professional revenue cycle management. That's a structural change, not a fad. And I think pretending otherwise does you a disservice. Now, here's where I want to be careful because it would be really easy. And honestly, it would be really good for engagement on this show for me to sit here and paint DSOs as the villains. I'm not going to do that. Not all DSOs are created equal. Some of them are poorly run patient mills, yes, for sure. But some of them deliver genuinely good care, take administrative burden off the shoulders of dentists who never wanted to be business owners in the first place, and also, and really importantly, give young docs a path into the profession that doesn't require taking on a mountain of practice debt on top of student loans. There are great clinicians working in DSO settings. That's just true. So this isn't a good guys versus bad guys episode, but I'll tell you plainly where we stand at DentalScapes. We're on the side of the little guys and gals, the independently owned practices, the doc whose name is on the door, who lives in the community, who coaches the Little League team and sees their patients at the grocery store. That's who we built our agency to serve, and that's who this episode is for. Because I genuinely believe independent dentistry is worth fighting for. And more importantly, I believe it's a fight that you can win. Here's why. Goliath has advantages, but Goliath also has weaknesses, as we know. And your job is to stop competing where they're strong and start competing where they're weak. Let's talk about where they're strong first so we're clear-eyed. DSOs have budget. They can flood a market with paid search and outbid you on the most expensive keywords. They have infrastructure, call centers, extended hours, same-day availability, financing options plastered everywhere. And they have consistency. Their branding is polished because someone at a corporate office gets paid to make it polished. If you try to fight them on those terms, pure spend, pure volume, you will lose. That's the honest truth. But here's what they can't do. They can't be you. A DSO can buy ads, but it cannot buy the fact that you've been serving your town for 12 years, that your front desk knows patients by name, that your reviews mention you specifically. Dr. Smith was gentle with my kid. Dr. Smith called me the night after my extraction to check on me. That is marketing gold, and it's a moat that no corporate office can cross effectively. Personal trust is the one asset that doesn't scale, and you have it in abundance. So how do you weaponize that? Well, there's a few concrete plays I want to share with you. Number one, Dominate local search because that's where the fight actually happens. When someone in your zip code searches dentist near me, the local pack or the map pack is the battlefield. And this is the good news. Google's local algorithm doesn't care how many locations your parent company has, if you even have a parent company. It cares about proximity, relevance, and prominence. That means your Google business profile fully built out with real photos of your actual team, services listed, Q&As answered, posts going up regularly. It means a clean, consistent citation footprint. It means local content on your website that a centralized corporate marketing team would never bother to create because they're managing 200 locations and you're managing one. Depth beats breadth at the local level. This is your home turf. Act like it. Number two, please. Run away with reviews. Reviews are the great equalizer. A DSO location with a 4.1 star average and generic corporate responses cannot compete with an independent practice sitting at 4.9 with hundreds of reviews that name the doctor and the hygienist. And review generation is pure discipline. It costs almost nothing. Ask every happy patient. Make it easy with a link or a QR code at checkout. Respond to every single review like a human being because you are one. This is also increasingly important for AI search visibility. When tools like ChatGPT or Google's AI overviews recommend a dentist, they're leaning heavily on review signals and reputation. We've talked on this show many times before about the shift from rankings to recommendations, and reviews are the fuel for that entire engine. Number three, fix your follow through because this is where DSOs quietly eat independence alive. Here's an uncomfortable truth. A lot of independent practices lose new patients, not because their marketing failed, but because the phone rang 3 times and went to voicemail at lunch. That sucks. DSOs answer their phones. They offer online scheduling. They confirm appointments automatically. None of that requires a corporate budget anymore. Online booking, missed call text back, prompt follow-up on web forms, these are affordable off-the-shelf tools now. Getting found is only half the game. Getting booked is the other half. If you plug that leak, you can convert at a rate that makes your smaller marketing budget punch way above its weight and dramatically lower your cost per acquired patient in the process. Number 4, niche down and own something. A DSO location is by design generic. It has to appeal to everyone, so it stands for nothing in particular. You don't have that constraint. Maybe you're a sedation practice for anxious patients, the pediatric practice that makes dentistry actually fun, the ortho practice with the fastest, most transparent pricing conversation in town. Pick the thing you're genuinely great at and build your content, your website, your social presence around that thing. When you stand for something specific, dentist near me becomes that dentist, and that's a search that no competitor can intercept. Number 5, be visibly, authentically local. Sponsor the team. Show up at the school health fair. Post the behind the scenes stuff, your team's birthdays, that goofy Halloween costume, the patient who just finished treatment ringing the bell. This is not fluff. This is differentiation that a regional marketing office literally cannot replicate because they're not there. And it feeds everything else. Engagement, reviews, word of mouth, brand searches. And get that link from the organization if you can. Now, none of this works casually. That's the catch, and I want to be straight with you about it. Goliath's real advantage isn't budget, it's consistency. The corporate machine executes every single week, whether anyone feels like it or not. Most independent practices lose not because their strategy is wrong, but because their execution is sporadic. A burst of effort in January, silence by March. So if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this. Pick the fundamentals, local search, reviews, follow through, and execute them with boring, relentless discipline. Scrappy doesn't mean chaotic. Scrappy means doing the unglamorous things every week that your bigger competitor assumes you won't. David didn't beat Goliath by picking up a bigger sword. He won by knowing his own strengths and using them with precision. You have a sling, folks. It is your name, your community, your reputation, and your ability to move faster than any corporate office ever will. Use it. Now, if you're an independent practice owner and you're looking around the competitive landscape thinking, okay, I know I need to do this, but I don't know where to start. That is exactly what we do at DentalScapes. We work exclusively with dental practices, and we would love to take a look at your market, your visibility, and your competition and map out a plan for you. Book a free strategy call with us at dentalscapes.com/start. No pressure, no hard sell, I promise, just an honest conversation about where you stand and where the opportunities are. And before you go, I have a selfish ask. If this show has been helpful to you, it would mean the world to me and my co-founder, Brian, if you'd take 30 seconds and leave us a 5-star rating or a quick review wherever you're listening or watching this podcast. I know everybody asks, but it genuinely makes a difference. It is the single best way to help other practice owners find the show, and helping more independent docs compete and win is the whole reason why we make it. Thanks so much for listening, and I will catch you on the next episode of the Dental Marketing Mix. We're out.